Welcome back to another episode of Music is My Mantra. Today we are exploring all things hormonal, which I'm super excited to talk about. We have a very special guest today, Amita Sharma. Amita is the co-founder of NourishDoc, a global holistic wellness platform for women to manage their hormone transition from PMS to post-menopause. Inspired by her perimenopause journey and working in the high tech world, she felt unsupported. She needed to bring the taboo topic of perimenopause to the workplace for an open discussion. So, welcome, Amita, to Music is My Mantra.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Courtney. I have to say, music helped me a lot in my perimenopause journey for healing. And, there's so much research on that. We're going to talk about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for bringing your expertise. And
Mhm.
I know personally, even just with PMS in my life, it definitely feels like a taboo to talk about, especially with non-females. But, I think it's really great that you're bringing awareness to this because it is just something that we all experience. And, obviously some people to different extents. But for me, I
Mhm.
know I really had to find different solutions to kind of help just in my day to day and
Mhm.
learning to know what my hormones were like. And so that was a
Mhm.
big part of my journey as well.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about how you came up with this, or I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, the how did you get started in wellness? Let's start there.
I don't come from a wellness background. I have learned on the job, so to speak,
Hmm.
talking to people like experts like you and 5,000 other experts. So
Hmm.
my journey was my personal experience and the lack of resources that I personally felt while working, and also a gap in the medical fraternity. All of those things led me to go deeper into this. Wellness world, so to speak. And I didn't
Hmm.
want to take depression. I didn't want to start taking anxiety, depression medications. I
Yeah.
was not depressed. And I'm like, oh my God, what if it has all kind of side effects on me as I get older, right? So
Hmm.
this was my thinking. And I started researching a lot into how can I use different type of modalities,
Mm.
like acupuncture, like Ayurveda, like food as medicine, movement, naturopathy, all of these, right? Essential
Yes.
oils, and to get myself in sync, my mind, body, and soul. So that was
Mm.
my journey, my personal interest in this that led me to go deeper. And then the more I dug into it, the more I realized the lack of resources for women, all of us at
Yeah.
any age group for that matter, right?
Yes.
So even younger women, they don't have much resources to go by, right?
Yeah, I remember being a young teenager and I just thought that it was like the cool thing to do to get on birth control, but I had no idea. Honestly, like I wanted
I
to
know.
be on it because it was like that seemed like it was the thing that was,
Yeah.
if you got freedom, then it gave you a sense of freedom in some way. And I, through college, started using birth control and it really messed up my body.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there are a lot of other factors into it.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's really important. And you come from a tech background.
Yes, yes. Yeah, birth control can really mess up your hormones. I mean,
Yeah.
so many things you can start putting. I started putting on weight. I remember
Mm.
many years back when I was on birth control, I started putting on weight. It would not go away. My hormones were completely, God knows where. My
Mm.
mood was going crazy. I had to get off and figure out a natural ways to not have 10 babies. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and just one more to on that note, I heard that the IUD was a non-hormonal way to do that. So I that's what I had for 8 years. And at first it felt great. I didn't notice much, but then I realized like I was still having crazy periods and emotions and I started
Mhm.
looking into it and there were a lot of people out there that actually had similar issues
Yeah.
that came from this non-hormonal solution, if you will.
Mm,
So
mm.
that it was probably like 2020 when I got that removed and since then I haven't no birth control for me. I don't even
Natural
need it
ways
half
of
the
the body.
time. No,
natural timing your body and charting your meds. Seriously,
I
I was
do. I
talking
do.
about,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, talking to an expert, and she was talking about, hey, you chart your menstrual cycle, you
Hmm.
measure your basal body temperature, and you make sure the days you're fertile, you stay away. you know.
Honestly, and I think once I finally started tuning into my body,
Mhm.
that was partially through music and yoga, but even with tracking my cycle, I really did notice certain patterns, and that felt actually way more empowering than just like using some sort of pill or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think, see, the thing is, I mean, we are all kind of brainwashed. Pill
Hmm.
is easier. And we say, oh, take a pill and it's going to solve your problems.
Yep.
You know, that's, and we're so stressed and stretched, I should say, that for time, we
Yes.
don't have the time to go into the details of all the other things that could be beneficial for us. We take a pill. And
Hmm.
they said, oh, it's okay, take a pill and it's going to solve your problems. We do not realize by the time you're going to get at a certain age, as we move up to the ladder of the age factor here, how horrible it's going to be from a quality of life, the chronic conditions, so
Yes.
many things,
Yeah. What
right?
what was some of your if was there a moment where you had a tipping point experience where you realized you needed extra support?
Yeah, it was actually before my perimenopause journey.
Okay.
I was still in my 30s and I had chronic fatigue,
Mm.
which was completely unexplainable. I,
Yeah.
I I must have gotten, I don't know how many tests done and all kind of things, but now I think back, I look at years back, it probably
Mm.
hormone issues, right? My hormones were not balanced and I could not wake up in the morning.
Mm.
And just like, oh my God, I was scared to, like, oh, like I'm going to die early. I had two
Yeah.
young kids, the kids were very young at that
Mm.
time. And I was more scared for my kids than myself,
Yeah.
like I was not scared to die. You die, you die. But I didn't want to leave babies,
Yeah, they're
right?
depending on you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me that was the tipping point. I really made a promise to myself that to take care of myself
Mm.
for my family, and started looking into diet and nutrition and every single thing I could think of to start taking care of myself and reversing that fatigue. And I would get, my liver would get heavy, on my right hand
Mm.
side of the liver, and all of those things. I had so many issues, so I said, no, I'm going to start taking care of it. And that for me was the tipping point of starting a journey on this holistic lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Mind body lifestyle, that I started taking care of myself.
That's that's really awesome that you had that realization, and what did that look like? Did you start with acupuncture, or tell us a little bit about the steps that you started
So,
with?
yeah, so, I grew up in a culture where the Vedic chanting was very much part of our life.
Cool.
So, believe it or not, our family used to go every single day, not to a temple, but more like a spiritual guru, so to speak, a woman guru,
Okay.
right? If you can imagine that. You know how most of the gurus are men,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Majority, if you look at it. So this woman was sort of like a woman guru in the neighborhood where my grandparents lived, and every
Cool.
evening the whole family would go walk to this temple, like a small temple,
Hmm.
and everybody's chanting mantras
Awesome.
every single day. And this lady guru is sitting in the center on a pedestal, like a throne, so to
Hmm.
speak, if you can think of like a queen throne, right?
Yeah.
And everybody else is sitting on the floor, if you can imagine, like the show in like so many movies. And
Hmm.
everybody's going like clapping and chanting and singing. So I was introduced at a very young age on this Vedic chanting as a means to heal yourself. And
Mm.
at that time they would say, "Oh no, you have to go to the temple. When you go to the temple, you see this lady and you'll feel better." Now I think about it, it was the chanting and the people and the community that
Yeah.
made all of us feel better, right?
Yes.
It
I
was the healing, right? Whatever you problems you have, you forget about it because you're going clapping and chanting. And
yes.
that came very early on in my life.
That is so cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're when you're chanting together, it's like you're singing together and you're
Mhm,
regulating your nervous systems together. And I'm
mhm,
sure you did feel that support, that communal energy that you were all creating.
mhm. Yeah, and I have loved that communal energy since then. And then, then the other, and not that I'm very religious, because I was brought up with this whole guru, this whole mentality, not
Hmm.
to worship tons of goddesses, Hindu, that the culture has.
Yeah,
So the chanting came to me, and then every night, and I even till today, I will chant a couple of mantras every night. It calms me down because that's
hmm,
how you grow up, right?
yeah,
So that's kind of has been my upbringing on the music from the devotional part of it, right? It's
that's
a
really
devotional
cool.
music. And then, of course, there's music for, the exercise and all of those things we all know that.
Yeah, yeah. So were you, when you were experiencing super low energy and that sort of
Mhm.
thing, were you chanting at that point, or was it like a remembering that you had those tools that you could come back to?
Yeah, yeah, I did exactly, because when you're
Hmm.
exposed to this kind of chanting when you're barely 3, 4 years old, right, or
Yeah.
maybe younger than that, and that becomes part of your daily routine and habit, and that was a solace, right? You go to
Hmm.
this temple, and then you feel pretty good as a kid. So it becomes, so every time I have been in a dark spot, or a dark times have been darker for me,
Yeah.
well, not only during the dark times, but I make it a habit to include the chanting as part of my daily routine, is
Cool.
what I'm saying, right? So
Yes.
that it's ingrained in my system, this whole thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Can I ask what some of the mantras are that have helped you?
It's a very simple mantra
Okay.
called Gayatri mantra.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Om Bhur Bhavaswa. It's in Sanskrit,
Mm-hmm.
and this is a typical mantra that I typically chant at night. And then there is another one that's from the Sikh. I don't know if you're familiar with the Sikh culture. The people who wear
Yeah.
turban,
Yeah. Well,
right?
slightly. I dated a Sikh for a couple of months in New York City.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's funny. They're
He was a
very
really nice guy. Yeah.
they're very nice guys, and they're
Yeah.
very grounded, and they're
Mm-hmm.
very open, big-hearted.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a culture. So they also have a devotional, what they call as prayers, right?
Yeah.
So and they when you go to the Sikh temple, they're always singing. They call, so that's one of the they don't call it mantras, they call it
Mm.
something else. But
Okay.
one of the things that they talk about is Japji Sahib. So that's the one I would typically, I'll just put it on.
Jape.
I remember the few sentences, but they have a whole book
Mm.
of nothing but mantras, and they sing it. They don't just say it. You know
Yeah.
how in Christian culture that they are talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Bible says, you should do this, you should do that. It's the same kind of a concept, but in this case they're singing, and about it, singing the whole verses, and then in between they'll start explanation of what it means.
Cool.
Yeah, it's similar things, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
all the cultures, same religion, talk about the similar concepts. It's just delivery is a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what is the translation for that in the Sanskrit? Do you know?
Oh, it's basically saying that all your obstacles are going to be taken away.
Mm.
That's what it is. It's all about that. It's like if you have any obstacles that are coming, and they're all going to be gone. So if you chant this Gayatri mantra, it'll give you peace, inside. And so there are, so in Sanskrit, there
Mm-hmm.
are, I don't even know how many mantras. There's a mantra for everything. There
Yeah.
is, Ganesh, Lord Ganesh. There is a day that Lord Ganesh is celebrated, and they call it Ganesh mantra. So anytime you want to start new work, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this culture, they say chant Ganesh mantra, and people are chanting like for 4 days, believe it or not.
Wow.
Or if they have to start something, like, let's say for instance you buy a home, like, and then you do this puja, like a small little and there's all these mantras, anything that you do, right? In Hindu
Mm-hmm.
culture, there's a mantra. You
Mm.
get married, they get you a priest, and there are Sanskrit mantras when you're getting married. It's very beautiful, actually, if you think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When you buy a house, there's a mantra. When you want to start something brand new, like your business or anything, they typically say Ganesh mantra or something other mantras. So there
Mm.
are so many mantras. I mean, I'm not an expert on all the mantras,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But I'm sharing you the concepts of
Mm-hmm.
what how ingrained the mantras are in the philosophy of this Eastern culture.
Yeah.
It's huge, it's big. And first, as a kid, I never used to understand, like, oh my God, it's boring. You know, as a kid, you're thinking
Yeah.
you don't understand the Sanskrit, and these priests are going like at a speed of a light, when they're chanting this, and you don't understand. But
Yeah.
now when you look back, it's amazing. It's so amazing.
So, do you still have a space similar to where you'd go with with your grandparents' family today? Do you, or
No.
no?
No,
Mostly just,
no, that was very special. That was
yeah.
that particular lady, as I said, she died. That
Mm,
was when I was a kid,
yeah.
and that was in a very small town. And she was like a local kind of a spiritual guru, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Okay.
I haven't found a similar kind of a lady spiritual guru here
Yeah.
near San Francisco,
Hmm.
right? Maybe there is. I haven't found one.
Yeah.
There are gurus now. There are a lot of gurus, but I haven't been able to follow anyone else since her.
Mm,
You know how it is once you follow someone and it's hard to go
yeah.
into something else.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of spiritual gurus in today's day and age. A lot of people follow them. I mean, even Deepak Chopra is technically a spiritual guru if you think about it in a modern way, right?
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But most of the other spiritual gurus are talking about life. Talking most of the time talking about stuff. In this case, it was more about chanting. She would never talk. She
Hmm.
would not talk like a talk. It wasn't like a motivational talking. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Just singing
Most
and
Yeah, most of
yeah.
the gurus, if you say, they are motivational speakers in a
Hmm.
modern way,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
They're motivating you. They're talking about, oh, what if you do this? What if you do that? This lady will not have any motivational speaking or talking. It would be chanting. And then you go one on one and tell her your problem and she'll say something. That's
Mm.
kind of that was the different concept.
Yeah. And so she was giving you guidance in the one-on-one
Yeah,
sessions.
spiritual guidance.
That's awesome.
One-on-one personalized spiritual guidance. In today's age, that's what you would call her, a
Yeah.
spiritual counselor, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think
Yeah,
it's really important to have a spiritual counselor, because
yeah.
it's sometimes we get in our own heads, and if you're in a group setting, that can be so beautiful to remind you that you're not alone,
Mhm.
but
Yeah,
to have that feedback is
yeah.
really important as
No,
well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the idea of community living in the sense that you know your neighbors, you as a community, you're doing things together, maybe on a weekly basis or monthly or whatever the time. But in today's day and age, it's so hard to do
Yeah.
all that the way we grew up, right?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of demands of our
Yeah,
culture that,
yeah,
says that
exactly.
we should do this and that. And so after you came back to mantra, were there any other additional practices? I know you mentioned Ayurveda, and tell me a little bit more about what that looked like for you.
Yeah, so I incorporated Ayurveda in my life,
Cool.
acupuncture in my life,
Hmm.
and I changed my entire lifestyle, my daily routine, my diet, my exercise regimen. Ayurveda can be very powerful for
Yeah.
preventive wellness. I don't know how much familiarity you have with Ayurveda.
I've learned a little bit of it in my yoga teacher training. I have a good friend here
Okay.
she's been studying it for a very long time, and she's a massage therapist as well. So, yeah, I'd love to hear, from your perspective, because I haven't talked about it on the show yet. So for our
Okay.
listeners out there, yeah. Um,
Sure. So I'll give an overview of what Ayurveda means, science of life. Literally, it's Ayurveda means
Cool.
science of life.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about personalized constitution. Each person is different and each person has a unique constitution.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it talks about. And then since each person is unique, it talks about that you should have diet according to what your
Mm.
constitution is,
Yes.
right? It's talking about different elements of different elements, and then according to that, each one of us has a one element that's more enhanced than the other. Based on
Mm-hmm.
that, you should have that kind of a diet. So personalized diet is talking about that. Then it's
Yeah.
also talking about having meals, having a daily regimen. What it calls is dinacharya, meaning every single day you need to incorporate the proper diet. You
Mm-hmm.
need to meditate, you need to do yoga, right? You need
Mm-hmm.
to include the holistic lifestyle into your well-being, not only your physical body but mind, body and soul. It's talking about the entire thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what Ayurveda is about. You need to nourish your mind at the same time you're nourishing your body. It's not like you nourish your body and you're nourishing your mind with bad thoughts.
Mm.
It has a lot of those kind of a philosophy to that, right? And
Cool.
then it talks about the food. When it comes to the food,
Mm-hmm.
it says that every meal should have six different tastes. So now if we think about it, we're talking about, carbohydrate, like in Western language, talking about carb, protein, and fat. It's
Yes.
also saying the similar kind of a thing, but says six different tastes. So you're getting all different type of foods into your body and
Mm.
nurturing it, right?
Yes. Yes.
And then it talks about having your kitchen spices as healing, right? For
Mm.
instance, a ginger, your turmeric, right? And then even some of the other herbs, or spices, like coriander, like cumin seeds, like fennel seeds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like cinnamon, like nutmeg, star anise, and the carom seeds. So many of these herbs, nutmeg, there's so many things, right? I can go
Yeah.
on. So it's cardamom, right? That's what I was
I
looking for.
love cardamom.
Me too.
Yeah.
I put it in my tea, right? The cardamom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's talking about using all these herbs into your day to day, every single life, and you can really heal yourself. And you should know. And then it has superfood, so to speak, what we call it adaptogens in today's day and age.
Mm-hmm.
It calls it rasina. So basically, what it's talking about is some of the foods they prepare sort of like a jam, what we call it chawanprash. It has all kind of herbs. You should nourish yourself with those kind of foods and some
Mm.
of the other supplements, like supplements like some of the ashwagandhas of the world. It's really good for your stress.
Yeah.
Shatavari is great for women like that. Triphala, for example, is great for your digestion. Amla is considered to be super food because it has all the six tastes, what I was talking about.
Mm.
Amla is Indian gooseberry, as an
Oh,
example.
okay. Okay.
It's great. It's great for
Yeah.
you. It has very high vitamin C, and like I said, it has all the six tastes, and it's anti-inflammatory. All of these things. If you can have one amla a day and one Indian gooseberry, it's not available
Mm.
readily here as a fruit. You have to buy frozen
Okay.
typically.
Yeah.
So, and then it's talking about all these herbs, right? Different herbs in there's so many herbs that you
Mm-hmm.
can use. So it's using natural, what the nature has already given you, herbs and spices, and using nature's circadian rhythm
Mm.
to align your body in alignment with what nature has given you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the very high level concept, and it talks about seasonal eating. What it calls ritucharya, meaning as per the season you should eat. You shouldn't start eating watermelon in December, as an example. It's a summer fruit, so eat it in summer.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, that makes
yeah,
sense.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it talks about cleansing. That's what, for me personally, that's the most like fascinating thing. So
Mm.
it talks that in a year you should get cleansing done of your mind, body, and soul at least two times in a year.
Mm.
Typically at the time of when the season is changing, like fall
Yeah.
and spring, right? That's what it's talking about. So when it talks about cleansing, it's literally saying, basically telling you almost for 1 week, you should go on a mono diet.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, that it talks about rice and lentils
Mm.
cooked with ghee and some simple healing spices, and go on this mono diet for 1 week. it helps you cleanse your entire body. I'm telling you, it's magical. I've done that
How
myself.
many years have you been practicing the biannual cleanses?
I've been practicing it for quite a few years now.
Yeah,
I go to the experts also quite a bit, and
cool.
I'm going to get to that, right?
Yeah,
So this is like at home thing I'm talking about. You can do
sure.
it by yourself. It's not
Hmm.
a juice cleanse, by the way. It's you
Yeah.
have to nurture yourself. You can't just put juice, all kind of sugar added and
Mm,
fructose, and think that it's going to cleanse your body. You need to properly nourish your body with the
yeah.
carb, protein, and fat. So that's why the rice, lentils, and ghee,
Mm,
it are protein and fat, right?
yes.
You need to still do that. So that's what it's talking about. And then there is a professional way that they'll cleanse you. What it's called is panchkarma. And then for that, you have to go to a specialist like a Ayurvedic clinic.
Hmm.
So basically, what they do is they feed you a lot of ghee. It's basically clarified butter, what I was
Yeah.
talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And then either you are cleansing from,
Purging.
vomiting,
Yeah.
or purging,
Yeah.
or through your, going
Or
poop,
purging
right?
that way. Yeah. Both are purging, I guess.
Yeah, so you have to purge, right? So somewhere the hole has to come out this way or that way. So that's the concept. And then they have another one, what they call it, they take some oil,
Hmm.
right? They call nasya, and put it here in your nose, and it's supposed to calm your this part of
Mm,
the upper part of your body and helps you with immunity. That's called nausea. It's very, very good. And
okay.
then so I talked, and then there's another one that they have is called enema, where they will surgically, not surgically, but they put it, in your rectum
Oh,
and they
yes.
cleanse, right?
Enema. Hmm.
Yeah, enema, right? So they can
Yeah.
do it here too, medically,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Colonoscopy, right? The
Yeah.
similar kind of a concept here. So what basically they're talking about is the panchkarma is cleansing your toxins out of your body, because our body will accumulate toxins as we get older, as we environmental. So cleansing it regularly on a yearly basis to make sure your body is functioning as you get older,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I have been more interested in the seasonal changes
Yeah,
since
yeah,
I've learned of Ayurveda, and I think it actually does feel better to be like, oh, it's winter. It's okay to slow down and hibernate. It's like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely, I think, given me more permission to lean into, you know, the rhythm of nature, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there are massages, which I didn't mention. So,
Hmm.
so then they have this whole concept of medicated oil, using medicated oil on all kind of body therapies,
Hmm.
massage therapies. One is there's a whole. I can go on and on different massage
Yeah.
therapies. Use medicated oil. They'll put it inside the body. They'll put it right here, and different type of herbs that are infused in the oils and kind
Hmm.
of you can lather yourself with oil. And they also have buttermilk that they'll kind of believe it or not, massage you for that. They're all kind of different therapies. I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
like a whole thing. And that's what I have personally when I try to get massages done with medicated oils. I'm telling you, it uplifts your whole mind, body,
Yeah.
and soul. It rejuvenates you, right?
We did in my yoga teacher training with this my friend Megan. She actually had us choose the carrier oil that was best
Mhm,
for our constitution, and then the essential oils that we,
mhm.
yeah, but basically a customized medical oil like we were talking about.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
yeah.
was really nice. It really did feel like I never thought that different types of carrier oils would make an effect on my skin, but it made it a lot healthier feeling.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's 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 unbelievable. I mean, and it has scientific research. What they call it is Shirodhara, meaning
Mm-hmm.
right here. They're pouring the oil right here in
Mm.
the third, in this chakra, the
Mm-hmm.
third, right. This is
Yeah.
chakra point,
The pineal
and it
gland.
has yeah, right here. They keep pouring medicated lukewarm oil. If you lie down, and that's kind of they keep pouring it for 45 minutes,
Mm.
and it has that you can sleep better. It has evidence. They've done clinical trials, believe it or not, randomized clinical trials where women who were having problems, they went through this whole combination of Shirodhara plus some yoga plus some meditation plus some breath work. They
Mm,
were able to sleep better. And there was a study done on specifically on menopausal, perimenopausal women.
mm,
So there's a lot of science and there's a lot of research behind all this. It's not
yeah.
just like, oh, it's not a pseudoscience anymore because there's a
Hmm.
lot of validation that goes behind it,
Yes.
and that's what I dug into more when I was looking into NourishDoc, and that was my premise, at least the background about it.
That's awesome. So, in your studies, as you're creating NourishDoc, tell us a little bit more about how you developed the app, like your ideal user and what it provides for people.
Yeah, so the idea behind this was I must have spent years and years trying to get the right kind of diagnosis. You can
Yeah.
say what was wrong with me, right?
Hmm.
And it took me almost a decade.
Mm.
So I wanted to really empower a woman out there with this whole mystery of perimenopause, which
Hmm.
is shrouded. Nobody wanted to talk about it up until a few years back.
Yeah.
So, the way it is structured right now, the app is going to come out with a simple self care initiative, the first go,
Hmm.
and it's going to be priced about $5. And the idea behind it is that affordability.
Yeah.
It's all with experts. It's not like, it's all science backed and experts.
Hmm.
And the idea with the self care is you can at least empower yourself with the right knowledge
Yeah.
you on all these topics of women's topics, right? Whether it's PMS, PCOS, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, even lack of libido. We have
Mm.
over 40 plus topics in this, very detailed.
Yeah.
So the self-care would be something like that in the app, so that each woman, the idea was every woman should be able to afford it in this country. That was my idea.
Mm.
Hopefully that's true.
Yeah.
And then the next step would be expert guided, where experts like you can come in and have workshops or some kind of still it's group workshops, so it's still not very, very expensive, but
Yeah.
reasonably priced. That's the next step. We offer that. And
Awesome.
then after that, experts, like I said, we're going to open up with about 5 to 600 experts. Women can do one-on-one with them. They can have, experts can offer their own programs or they have their workshops or boot camp or whatever. So
Hmm.
that's up to the experts how they want to price it. That's not up to us. We don't
Yeah.
control experts that, oh, price it only at this point or that point. We don't want to do it. But the first entry point is where we control the $5, $5 one. And then
Hmm.
the second one also we will control a little bit because we pay the experts in that one. And
Yeah.
then the
The
third one would
process.
be, yeah, third one would be let the experts drive what their offering is.
That's so cool. And so when if I wanted to come on for the $5 a month, those are classes or are they videos or what does that look like within each of those specific topics that you mentioned?
Sure. So like I said, there are over 40 plus different topics and they're
Yeah.
programs, short. Actually, it's not really short. They're quite a very detailed programs.
Hmm.
And within that, you also have your own personal dashboard where you can monitor your symptoms.
Mm.
You have a small journal. You can also monitor whatever is happening with your symptoms and track it. And
Mm.
then as part of that, we also have community. You can be part of the community at the same time. There's a lot of
I
things
love
that we are
that.
offering within the person. It's a lot of personalized kind of an app. It's not just like, oh, you just walk away with watching videos and you're like clueless. It's a combination of a lot of interactive elements that we
Yeah.
brought in together, along with the personalization that you and along with the community angle and the expert angle together,
That
right?
is
So I think,
awesome.
yeah, there's a lot we are trying to offer in $5.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially the community support, I think that's so huge
Yeah,
because, like you said before, there's just not resources out there. So I remember even a couple of years ago, I was telling my band about quote unquote period flu, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I don't know. It's
yeah,
just." every time that like the week before I get my period, I feel like I have the flu, but I never really have a fever. But I get the chills like I have a fever, and I get, all these things. And since I've been
Yeah,
doing yoga consistently and really like listening to my
yeah.
body more, I rarely experience that anymore. But they were like Googling it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a real thing. Like, how can that be that there's no explanation for it? And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like, it's crazy that so many of us have these experiences and there's just no name, no
Hmm.
diagnosis.
Hmm.
So I think to be able to share that and connect with other women who are going through it is really powerful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I mean, Facebook has these groups. It's not that doesn't exist. I think
sure.
it's just that the fact in Facebook, I don't know. I don't feel like sharing because I don't know who. It's like so many people. You don't know
Yeah,
who to, right? The lack of, I should say, that personalization and the lack of trust. I don't do that. I don't
yeah.
get it. You know?
Well, and also in a group that's focused on these things, like you said, you have all of those different resources. So it's not
Hmm.
just like
Yeah.
you're sharing what's happening, but you also can go and be like, "Hey, I tried this information or this section of this part of the app and it helped me." And so I think
Yeah.
that's almost have like that instant feedback with
Yeah.
actual potential answers, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
and you're
cool.
just one click away from talking to an expert, right?
Hmm.
As well. That's the main thing, right? If you want to,
Yeah.
you can just get a support of an expert through via chat. It doesn't have to be super expensive, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool. Well,
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned we're looking at hopefully next month this app is going to be fully
Yes.
launched. So,
Yes.
thank you for telling us about it and I can't wait to be sharing more and share this conversation and, keep talking about these things because as we've said, we need to talk about it. It's important. It's part of our experience as women. So, thank you for that.
Sure. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I hope and wish that you can, just try it out and give us your feedback.
I will, absolutely. And
Mhm.
I do have one more question for you before we sign off here. So, um, we talked a little bit about mantra and singing and community and that sort of thing. So, is there one song or maybe multiple songs or mantras you can share that have saved your life or changed your life in some way?
So I was telling you about the Gayatri mantra, right?
Yeah.
That I chant that every night. So it starts with Om Bhur Bhava Swa Tat Savitra Vareniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deyo Yo Nam Prachodayat. So it's basically asking forgiveness from God and
Mm,
also, oh God Almighty, you are the creator, right? That's what
yeah.
it's talking about. And forgive me, and I'm just like that. So this has actually saved me from all the
Mm,
dark moments that I
mm,
have had. And I think all of us go through dark moments.
yeah.
It's not, you know.
Yeah.
And I think chanting this, I chant this every night. Maybe I chant this like, I don't know, 10 times, 20 times every
Wow.
single day.
Yeah.
It's ingrained in my, I was talking to you earlier.
Hmm.
This helps me ground. It keeps me grounded. And that's
Hmm.
what I want to be. I want to keep grounded and not get sidetracked in my life with
Yeah.
negative thoughts or dark thoughts or life is not good, you know?
Yeah.
Right? We all get that.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that I chant. It helps me with that. Yeah.
I love that you translated it too. So it's creator asking for forgiveness. Like the just, acknowledging the higher power and then
Mhm.
asking for forgiveness is so huge and it's something that I feel like has definitely changed my life.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some things like even there's so many things that I feel I should do but I'm not able to do,
Hmm.
and I don't know what to do, and sometimes in life that happens with your relationships with your loved ones or some of the other things that you wish you can help them but sometimes you cannot. What do you do? So you ask for forgiveness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You say, look, as a human being I can do what I can do, but
Yeah.
if the other person is not understanding whatever my way of thinking is, you ask for forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's how, right? That's and I was watching a show last night, and it was talking about Christianity, and it's the same thing. You know,
Yes.
you go to
Mm-hmm.
a confession, you ask for forgiveness, and they say Jesus will forgive you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or don't worry. So I think the concepts are the same. I'm fascinated by different religions, how
Yeah.
they it's the same, similar concepts. So
Mm-hmm.
you just ask for forgiveness for some things that are out of your control, and that's what I have believed in myself and
Yeah.
keep myself sane.
I feel like for me, it really takes the pressure off.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm able to be like, okay, it's like a reset in
yeah,
the
yeah,
connection and the
yeah,
thoughts and
yeah.
the
And
energy.
then tapping too. You know, the other thing what I do is I don't know if you
Oh,
right.
EFT?
Yeah, yeah, and it's tapping. EFT, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. This helps a lot. So you try to say, look, you don't have control on some things. You don't know what to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, help me God or forgiveness or whatever you want to say, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of do like that. You know, some things, like
Mm.
I said, most of us don't have control. What are you going to do? I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
And then you just try to live your life to the best of your ability, what you have been given from the universe, and try to do the best. So I think these kind of attack simple things like EFT, simple mantra chanting, even simple essential oils. You know, I keep it with me all the time. I'm like telling you, I have this spray. I will just spray it. You know,
Yeah.
it's a spritzer, right? It's with the it's a mist, a little bit of essential oil, and just I spray it. It helps me
Nice.
just, you know, so
Calm
things like
down,
that.
like settle
Mhm.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It helps
Yeah.
me calm down. So all these oils, I must have like at least 10 or 20 different oils in I use for my all kind of things you can think of.
Yeah.
You know?
I love essential oils too. I have some
Yeah. Like
um
facial oils, my body oils, my this oil, that oil. So these are the things that can help you, you know, keep grounded and keep going on in life with whatever purpose you want to have with yourself.
awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you again for sharing a little bit about your journey today. And I can't wait for the app to come out. I'll definitely be sharing that over social. And is there anything else that you want to shout out or mention before we officially sign off here?
No, I just want to say that, you know, it's very important that we listen to our inner voice. We
Yes.
don't, a lot of times.
Yeah.
We let outside influences govern our, you know, sort of like a spirit, so to speak. I know myself, I let that happen quite a few
Yeah.
years. And we feel that others' opinions are sometimes more important than yourself. I want to emphasize the fact that you listen to everyone else, okay, but do what you want to do in the sense what your inner voice is telling you.
Mm,
That's very important to live in harmony with who you are. And
yeah.
sometimes it takes years to do that, but it's important.
Yeah. To hear what that voice is actually saying.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's important.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that nugget of wisdom. Well, thank you so much, Amita. You can find the brand new app, NourishDoc, on Instagram. It's nourish_doc if you want to check it out. And for all of our listeners out there, be sure to like this episode, share it with a friend if you found it helpful. And if you got any nuggets of information or you want to learn more, be sure to comment and let us know what sounds most interesting, what helped you, and we want to help more people just by sharing this information. So, thank you for tuning in today. And until next time, check out Amita's work online. And we'll see you next week, next Monday, for another episode of Music is My Mantra. Until then, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise.